In an update video from the VALORANT team, we found out that
Breeze and Split will be rotating out, and Haven will be rotating back in.
the last time Haven was in the pro map pool was back at Champs in August of 2023. At that time, there were two successful comps that teams were playing. The typical comp of Omen, Killjoy, Skye, Breach, Jett was rivaled by Loud's comp of Harbor, Killjoy, Skye, Viper, Jett. Ultimately, the debate was to play double controller or double initiator. Today, Valorant's meta looks vastly different. We see a lot of Gekko on almost every map. He's replaced 2023 Skye as the go-to initiator. With a 10-second cooldown on his flashes after getting picked up, he mimics pre-nerf Skye in terms of using flashes for information. If you take this into consideration, with the Viper Fuel and Molly nerfs that recently dropped, together with the Skye flash nerfs from earlier this year, I don't think any teams will be playing the Harbor, Viper, Skye comp this time around. My guess is that we'll see Killjoy, Breach, Omen, Raze, and Gekko. In this video, I want to go over Gekko's utility on both attack and defense for Haven to display why I think he's so valuable on this map. I'll also quickly review the util as to why I'm choosing the other agents in this comp. Finally, I'll bring up a weapon that is incredibly useful and I think is a little bit underrated on Haven. Alright, let's start by going over Gekko utility on defense. This flash is good for info, easy to pick up as well. A similar flash, a long. It's not the best for actually flashing people, just for info. After that on A, I want to show the retake utility that's really good for Gekko. So for the first molly, you got to aim this part of your UI, this little dot, this part of the map. It's going to be a default molly. Similar thing here, you're going to do the corner of the mouse. So I'll throw the other one as well just to show you where it lands. That second one was going to be top short. First one is going to be default. You can couple, let me just show you how it spreads. You can couple that with a flash right after. You're also going to play this map with another flasher most likely, so they could flash this wall, and you can flash this. The only thing I have for B is a molly to stop the plant. So this area right here is usually smoked, but you'll always have this frame of reference because it extends out in the middle of this wooden plank along the back wall. The first time you see this B, just right here, you'll do a max damage to any of the good plant spots. After that, we have an info flash in garage. Pretty simple, easy to pick up. It'll ping something. And then we have C retake utility. So first, I'm going to show you this molly. Aim this part of the UI with this part of the map. Just throw. It's going to be a default molly. I'll show you in a second. If you want to do a back plat molly, you do this as well. Just run and jump. Depending on what molly you do, you could throw in a different flash. So this flash works well. If not, you can do some sort of flash like this. Before we get started on Gekko's utility on attack, I want to talk about Wingman. So Wingman's FOV, he can scan anything that's 180 degrees of him. So anything to his left or right, direct left or right, he'll be able to scan. Alright, let's start with Gekko on attack. Very simple flash for information. That'll ping anything that's A long, easy to pick up as well. You can also do Wingman lineup, similar to what the Raze Roomba was. So you just walk into this corner and you aim at this light. It'll clear anything in short. Anything peeking the cubbies, and it's really easy to pick up again as well. After that, we have some mollies for execs. This right here, if you just get into this cubby, and you aim this dot on your UI with these rocks. You throw, this will be a top short molly. This will clear top short while your teammates are coming up short. Same time, you could do a molly right over here. Just aim at this coin. This is good for post plant or good for just taking sight. It'll do max damage to either side of default. Then I want to explain the same thing with Wingman that I was talking about. You could just send a Wingman like this. It'll clear literally every angle on B. Anything from here to here. It's really easy to pick up as well. And then for C, we have some mollies. This molly is really similar to the KJ molly that you've seen before that lands right here. But if you're playing with a Cypher, you could do it as well. Aim right here and jump throw. You could also do a back plat molly. So for this one, you get in this corner. You're going to aim. I'll just put these two pieces of the UI right around here. It's not super precise. I just shift walk and then throw. clears that cubby while your team is execing in. And then for flashes, you can do anything like this, maybe like this. You're running up. They all work. A lot of teams might play Killjoy on this map, and sometimes they play retake A, or they're just going to use this lockdown ult right here to clear A on a post plant. So you got to remember that lockdown has 200 health, and Gekko's Molly does 150 max damage. So you have to couple this with either a raise nade or a breach aftershock or something like that. But the Molly you'd want to use to do damage to this ult, what I do is there's 7 windows right here. You aim in the middle window at the top. You just do a running jump throw. Now that's from ammo. I'm just going to show you how this lands. That's just from ammo. Let's say you plant default. You could kind of use the same like strategy. You want to aim at the same height, do a running jump throw. Now, you got to be careful when you send this because of the stuff that's right here. Your Molly might get stuck there, so that's why you aim at the first window. Anything to the left of that, you'll clip onto the stuff that's here. Alright, first let's start by going over Breach's utility. So there haven't been any significant changes to this agent, but I still want to go over some small things that are really good for Breach on this map. First of all, the stun for defaulting A is really good. This is a similar thing that the Gekko Flash does. Doesn't let them cross or gives you info that they crossed in both scenarios. The next piece of utility is also for defaulting A. The barrier, where the enemy starts, is right here. So if you think they're going to op you short, you can maybe do sort of stun like this, and your Jet or your Raze can dash up into short. The last piece of utility I want to show is this specific aftershock lineup. So if you were to split C, do this aftershock, that will clear logs. I think it's pretty cool. Alright, starting with the breaches, one of Breach's strong spots on CT. Obviously, C long, it's a really nice spot for the breach stun. You could go all the way down, as well as a little aftershock for the cubby. Just matches Breach's utility really well. Other than that, I think his strongest spot on this map is playing A-Link. You can do the normal stun to deny A info at the beginning. This is really good combined with like a smoke and maybe somebody taking a deep line A long. If you were to play him here, you could also stun all the way down down short this way, potentially for some sort of trap play or reclear. The same thing goes for this spot, right? If you maybe put a KG alarm bot right here at the beginning of the round, or a Cypher trip, or something that's giving you information, you could also do this really popular trap play where you have a player waiting in short, and you just swing off this stun. Breach is really strong at prodding initiator utility, so let's say the Gekko is ulting A, and maybe this spot is a really comfortable spot to ult down short, or to drone as a Sova. You could just aftershock this and maybe catch them off guard. I think it's really interesting. And then there's one more I wanted to show you, this aftershock right here. Same thing, maybe they're ulting with Gekko up garage or droning up garage. This spot right here, just a really good spot to stop them from doing that, or to potentially punish them for it. Alright, next agent we're going to go over is Omen. Obviously a really strong controller, but what sets him apart is his flash. First off, playing C is probably a really strong spot. You could smoke early A for your team to default it. You also could smoke anywhere on the map from this position. So maybe your team needs a smoke to anchor A, or anything is viable from this spot. Also, the flash has really good stopping power here. Goes all the way down long, similar to the breach stun, and is just a really good way of stopping an exec, maybe drawing more time for rotations from your team. The only other thing I want to highlight on CT is this one way. But this one way is a decent one way to stop the attackers from kind of coming into garage. On the attack, his utility is great for any exec. His flash is really powerful. Maybe if you wanted to exec A, you could just flash the entirety of graffiti. On post plan as well, it's a really good way of stopping a retake attempt. You could just flash the entire push and really delay, make him waste your utility. As well as the flash, this one way right here is really good. I think I kind of messed it up, but you clip it onto this thing, and just again makes it really hard for the enemy to come out of A. And then on C, on attack, obviously again the flash really powerful. You could flash this entire side. You could also use the smoke for post plant. Put it on top of the site. It'll one way the people trying to defend the bomb. This is also a really great smoke if you're defaulting C. Maybe you flash this. You could just put this smoke that kind of makes it hard for an opera that maybe likes to play on top of default or behind default. Next agent we're going to go over is KJ. So Since last time Haven was in the map pool, they changed their turret. Doesn't see 180 degrees. I don't know what it is now, but it's smaller. Regardless for the mid turret, that was really good. It still works perfectly. It'll see any pushes in mid, garage or B. So that's still really valuable. I think for attack, that'll be the normal turret that cages will be doing, combined with some sort of alarm bot either on C or on A, depending where their team is heavy or defaulting towards. The only other thing I'll show is the same molly as a Gekko that I was showing earlier.
Placing swarm grenade.
Does the same thing. I think KJ has that extra ability for a Sentinel that can help with execs. So this is a really good molly that does the same thing as those previous mollies on execs. Really good. Now on defense, same thing that we talked about. On attack, the turret's the line of sight or vision is less, so you can't do this turret anymore. That used to watch everything. You can still do something like this. That can watch both the C push and the garage push, or something as well over here. I think most popular setup also includes the alarm bot towards B, just because teams like to play retake B. It's an easier site to retake than most. So I think also this alarm bot will get a lot more value now that there's no Sova, or in a mirror comp there'd be no Sova. So that might be more valuable. Teams might have to invest more valuable utility to clear this. Apart from that, I wanted to show the ult on A, obviously the one that we've been talking about in this video. You could also combine this with mollies if you still have them. Just aim right here and throw. This is just a really great way of retaking A. For the last agent that we're going to talk about, we have Duelist, and I know that I said Raze would be my pick on this map, but if they change her utility like they said they would in the most recent Valorant video, I think Neon might be a very great pick. I'm assuming that the buff is going to come to her slide ability, which will make it more like a piece of dive util, like these other duelists. Coupled with her other stuns and her wall, I think she'll just be a really strong pick compared to this Raze. The last agent I'll talk about is Jett. I think she's a comfort pick for a lot of players. She just doesn't have the same utility that these other agents do, and I think we're seeing a lot less opping, and even when players are opping, we see them op on Raze sometimes on other maps, so I don't think it's that big of a pick to play Jett. If those changes come in, I think Neon would be my first pick, but if not, I'd say Raze is going to get picked a lot on this map. Finally, I wanted to remind everybody that the Odin is a fantastic gun to use on CT for Haven. We've seen how strong it is on Lotus, and I think it's close to as strong on Haven as well. So it's primarily good for CT. I think one of its best uses is this spam right here. This could just kill anybody that's trying to default garage side, or it could also just break the KJ turret if they were to have a KJ that's defaulting mid. I think that's a very valuable start to a round. Maybe you could combine that with the push down B. It's less expected, or it won't be noted as early on. The other thing I wanted to share was on A. This spam right here is fantastic. So maybe somebody defaulting A, or if you're defaulting A as your team, or you know that maybe the team's going to go A, you could just do the spam right here, and I'll show you on the other side that it's going through. So this is really good. And it's rare to see another team buy an Odin on attack. I haven't seen it as much. Maybe they'll have a Guardian and a half buy, so you got to be careful. But this is a great spam. For Cypher particularly, this is a trip that I've seen some players use. If maybe you just want to play retake A, right, and you're just playing like a kill trip, you could set up this trip in hell that when spotted, you could spam. So again, I'll show it. It's going through. It's a really niche use, but I think it's still valuable.